One politician has come out unambiguously against what is being proposed for lawyers by way of compulsory tikanga training next year is the leader of the New Zealand First Party, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Winston Peters, who joins us by video link now. Mr. Peters, thanks for your time this morning. I'm presuming you didn't study tikanga Māori all those years ago last century when you did your law degree. Do you think lawyers should have to do it now?
Look, no, I didn't, but we were, as young people, living in a Māori area, going to a school largely comprised of Māori, learning about tikanga in its proper context. It was about our culture and how we lived and the way to live and the way to respect people. But to think that it's in now a course at universities and being demanded by real estate agents and all manner of people, including doctors, where this will be happening as well, is just an extraordinary, arrogant flight of fancy where you go from the things that people need to know to do their profession to the things that some people say they should know, which will be of no value. A sick Māori is not interested in all this stuff when they go to hospital. They want to get the first treatment as quick as they can. And when they're in front of a court, they're not interested about whether they got tikanga or not. They want to know whether the defence lawyer's got a good chance of getting them off or putting their case when it's before the court. And this is the extraordinary thing, the removal of these elitist few in both the Māori and European world from the mass majority of Māori who never asked for this. And that's the problem. Ordinary Māori get the blame for things they've never even requested. That's not what they want. They want their children to get the maximum education because they might go to law school. And when I was going to law school, the number of Māori there, you could be on one hand, less than that. And these are rare days. Now it's all different. But you see, we've made great progress, and it's not in any way being helped by these self-appointed, what you might call sociological commissioners as to what we must do and know.
What do you make of, as a lawyer and indeed as a member of the government, of the comments of Kylie Quince, the Dean of the Law School at AUT, who called Gary Judd, the man who has lodged a proper and formal complaint against the tikanga compulsion courses? She said he was a racist dinosaur and said she basically hoped he and people like him would go away and die. I thought that was a remarkable thing for the Dean of a law school at a New Zealand tertiary institution to say.
When you hear a Dean of a law school say a thing like that, I pity the poor students there. Their chance of getting jobs at decent law firms after that sort of comment are not very, very good. And it's already happened. And the second thing is, this man, Judd, has a highly respected KC. He's had a long career, decades in the law. On this matter, he is talking plain common sense and laying it out in terms of the necessity for the legal profession's education, of which he's very proud. And when somebody's comment resembles their name, they might be with a problem going forward. But the taxpayer should not have to foot this and pay for this nonsense.
Minister, are you in a position as a member of this government to influence whether or not this compulsory course goes ahead? Do you have cabinet colleagues you can go and talk to and ask to take the matter under consideration or look at? Do you have cabinet colleagues who might be able to question or ask AUT to explain the behaviours of the Dean of its law school?
Well, that's what we're going to do, and I believe that I do have cabinet colleagues, both the National Party and the ACT Party have come out when interviewed 24 hours later as to whether they agreed. They both said yes, they do. What's extraordinary, of course, is that some in the mainstream media only tacked it onto the story for 24 hours. And it's on Morning Report, the other contest this morning on radio, on Morning Report this morning, I've interviewed, and no mention as to who raised it. I mean, this is just extraordinary stuff here. When you got people gaslighting you out of the conversation, even though if they go onto our social media, this is where it started, and you have figures like 65 plus 70,000 looking at it. You see what I mean? So look, yes.
Well, as I said, the Herald ran the tikanga story this morning, but they make no mention of Kylie Quince. She's been tagged out for Jane Kelsey to try and make the argument. I don't know. more palatable and more acceptable. Jane Kelsey says it's a great idea.
Well, she says it's a great idea. She doesn't know why, of course. She can't lay that out. With the great respect to Jane, because what will she know about Tikanga herself? That's the first thing. And the second thing she says, but its timing is bad, it's premature. That's what she does say. It shouldn't be taught now. Yeah. So if it shouldn't be taught now, why we're listening to
stuff? Mr. Peters, the other issue I want to raise with you, and once again it is an issue that you have highlighted and you've made some statements about, but it went largely unreported. It was almost just background noise. We had a Māori Party MP who said in a speech in Parliament that the government is on a mission to exterminate Māori. An incredible claim, one that I think no reasonable person would say is true, but it's a bit like, genocide in Gaza, isn't it? And there's absolutely no consequence or outrage over that sort of rhetoric being used in our Parliament or being used by an MP. It's amazing.
This is breathtaking. We saw it and did something about it, put it up on our social media and put out a press statement at the time, despite some refusing to carry it. But here's the point. You've got this person making these straight-out statements that sound racist, sound so elitist, that is saying that everything she's saying in Parliament, from a cabinet which has got more Māori in it than any other time in history, and more Māori in Parliament than any time in history on a ratio basis, way above our ratio, and she's standing there saying that we're out there to exterminate her. You know what I can say to you, and frankly, this is what should be done. Why doesn't some journalist trawl back into her past and see the assistance to the New Zealand taxpayer of all ethnic backgrounds and beliefs has given this woman to coming on and thinking you can get away with this sort of stuff like some of us don't know. This is a woman from Whangarei. Well, Shane and I are from up north. A lot of us have got a background up north. A lot of us were involved in Māori work, doing great things for Māori, like getting their land back and getting their rights being pushed before we've even heard of this person. I'm talking about beginning in the 70s doing this, winning great court cases. No, here she comes out of left field and says it there with no recognition at all. But on the way through my own life to get here, I got an enormous amount of money from the European taxpayer, because the European taxpayers are the taxpayers of this country.
Are you accusing? Are you accusing Ms. Kapakingi of being like a dole bludger?
No, I'm not. I'm saying there's a lot of people that got on in life because by needing the taxpayer's assistance. There are hundreds of thousands who have done that, who need the taxpayer assistance, and no one begrudges that. But when you turn your back on those very people that have helped you on your way and call them exterminators or people out to get rid of you, as they were proving by their actions and by their money that they weren't, quite the contrary, they're trying to make sure you kept alive. You see what I mean?
Is it a breach of privilege? Is it a breach of Is it a breach of privilege to accuse the government of engaging in mass murder?
Well, of course it is. But you see what's happened here. Now, Mahari, the former Labour minister and member for Palmerston North, wrote an article today about what's wrong with Parliament. And I'm sitting here thinking, I can't disagree with anything he's saying. He's putting it all on the line. He's saying that the standards have dropped massively, that things are going on there.